Some very interesting news. Congress has its highest approval rating in more than a decade. Let's put this up there on the screen, since June 2009. Why? Because they just sent people money. And what happened in June 2009? That's right, we had a stimulus package. Now I'm seeing something really interesting here. I do love, however, that even though it's its highest approval rating, it's still 36%. Got it. Up from 9, so that's good. Congrats, Congress. What does this tell you? And this is something we've talked about a lot here, which is that it's very popular to do popular things. And I know that sounds crazy, very reductive, but it turns out you can actually do yourself a lot of favors to do wildly popular stuff, like stimulus checks. Congratulations, everybody. And I think many Republicans should be like, why did we all vote against this thing exactly? Or at least not even offer up our own vision or anything on the other side. This is what happens. And I think actually this is good news. Now, are they going to revert back to their old ways? Yeah, almost certainly. Is anything actually going to change? No. But maybe somebody who's young and who's watching this show, and maybe they one day will get elected to Congress, they will change their behavior and will realize that you can actually change the entire nation of your institution within months on a single bill by just doing something basically popular. 36% approval rating, their highest in decades since June 2009. Again, a perfect example of how you can increase your popularity by doing popular things. It's that simple.
It is really that simple. And let me tell you a counter story here, a counter narrative. Some new numbers out about Kyrsten Sinema's favorability in the state of Arizona. Congress has a 36% favor, already pathetic.
Yes.
Sinema, 27%. Favorability, 27%.
In Arizona.
So really simple lesson here. Yeah. Yes, in Arizona. Really simple lesson here. Doing popular things makes you popular, and blocking popular things makes you unpopular. Yeah. It's this really incredible thing, and it turns out the American people are not stupid. They see what you're doing. That's why in November they punished the Democratic Congress that blocked checks. Then they punished Mitch McConnell and the Republican Senate that blocked checks. And now that Congress is actually done some small thing, just not even that much, but one small thing that showed up in people's bank accounts, their approval rating has skyrocketed to a record-breaking 36%.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of incredible to see. The other thing I was thinking about is, it's weird because I think in theory, Americans, if you ask them, they like the idea of divided government. But I don't think they actually like the reality of divided government.
This is how it always works, which is that everybody hates Congress, but they like their representative.
They like their representative, but not just that. Like, they like the idea of, let's have the Democrats have some stuff and the Republicans, and they'll balance each other out. But of course, the reality is then nothing happens. Nothing gets through. Nothing is accomplished. And so it also kind of reveals the stupidity of these debates about process, like, should we get rid of the filibuster? How much should we put through reconciliation, et cetera, et cetera? People really don't care. All they care about is, did you deliver or did you not deliver? They really aren't concerned about ultimately how it gets done, which is, again, to come back to Kyrsten Sinema, part of why her approval rating right now stands at 27%. Congratulations.
That makes a lot of sense. And, I'm actually already seeing Senator Chuck Schumer is putting forward a new theory for how they might be able to pass some bills on a 51% level. We'll see if they actually go along with it. I think
Is it still through reconciliation?
It's like a complicated Senate rules thing. I don't 100% understand it, and I'll look into it for tomorrow's show. But I think the important thing to understand there is, I still believe that Manchin and Sinema don't want to get rid of the filibuster because they simply just don't want to vote on several bills.
100%.
And I think that's bad, because something Rachel has actually talked a lot about on the show is Congress used to vote on a lot of stuff. And one of the things that's happened is that they just don't have regular votes on many things because they realize their votes could come back to bite them in the ass whenever they run for Congress, whenever there's like so-and-so voted against this procedural thing. But listen, their job is not to get there and get reelected. Their job is to get there and vote on stuff for us. And we need to change that dramatically. So I would actually support a change to a 51 support with this one in particular, because let's make them vote. If you want to vote against gun rights or whatever, which is what Joe Manchin is deathly afraid of happening, the same Kyrsten Sinema, likely on like third trimester abortion, fine, let's have that discussion. But that's the real thing. They just don't want to do it.
passing a bill and having the party in power be able to implement their agenda is not the end of the world. If people don't like it, you can roll it back.
Yeah, you can.
Right? I mean, it should be that when you're in power, you're able to get your agenda that you were elected to implement, that you can actually accomplish some significant piece of it. And right now, the Senate is so broken that that's just borderline impossible.
Yeah.
All right, more Rising for you after this.